Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel where I'm posting free Linux tutorials. My name's Ken Ma. I'm a Linux tutor based in York in the UK, and here I'm posting videos, associated PDF notes and Virtualbox appliances. They're free to Facebook group members. Do have a look through the unique selling points if you haven't been here before. If you've seen this before, I've re-recorded the introduction because I've updated the way that the sample files are installed. I'm a trainer with years of experience. You get PDF course notes, VMs, Mint and CentOS. There's also an Ubuntu one there. Easily downloadable sample files. I do a split screen delivery. There are many examples in the notes, lots of exercises with solutions, and you can send me questions and I'll answer them by email. My only disappointment in doing this so far is the lack of feedback. Not many people get back to me with whether they liked it or don't like it. I mean, a handful do. If you come here and you haven't got the Facebook link for the PDF notes, there's the link there. I've currently got two YouTube channels running, Ad Hoc and Introduction, and as it says at the bottom, after you've watched it, please subscribe to my channel, like or unlike or comment on the videos, and when you run the videos you can add optionally generated captions. This is the Ad Hoc channel, and here I've been posting things like creating USB with Ventoy, which gives you multiple ISOs on one USB stick. It's rather clever actually. Installing things like Ubuntu. I will be doing, I think, installing CentOS into Virtualbox next. I've just done installing Arch. It is hard if you do it by hand, an easy way. A few other things down there if you're interested. But today I'm looking at my Linux command line for beginners and Windows users course, which has 12 sections. This is the re-recorded introduction. The other sections include logging on and simple commands, commands and concepts like redirection and piping, directory and file commands, the basics of Vim, find and job control, grep and sort, backup and restore using tar and CPIO. That's as far as I've posted at the time of recording this introduction. Next I'll be doing file permissions, then the sed batch editor, and finishing with Vim Advanced. So I hope you enjoy it. So we'll start with the PDF notes. This is the first section, the introduction here. So it's the command line, etc., my name, blah. These links, if you want to look at them, I might explain them. They'll explain later in the course actually, if you go through the course. That's to iDrive, which I use to store files in the cloud. That's to Dropbox, which I use to sync my course notes. That's the DigitalOcean, which I use for servers in the cloud. And that's if you want to buy me a cup of coffee to help toward development. So this is section 0, the introduction. Now you can find this on my iDrive. The link is in the Facebook post I made or on the first screen of this video, and here it'll take you to my classroom. In the Ad Hoc you'll find notes for the Ad Hoc videos I've done. In handouts, in introduction, you'll find the sections that I've recorded so far. So we're up to 8, which is backup and restore, and this is the introduction. This is the old section because when I finish this I'll post the new section. If you click on that, you can bring that up and look at it there. Now there are some links in here. The problem with doing it through iDrive is you can't click on the links and open them. So what I suggest you do is what I've done, and download the PDF file and then open the PDF file. I've got it open in events because I like events. Let's go back there again. There are a few other things in the classroom. There's handouts, So there's some cheat sheets that I didn't write but I downloaded because I like them. There's also overviews of my courses, so that's an overview of the introduction, what it covers, and the scripting course, which I might follow this up with. And lastly, there are virtual machines. So in there's CentOS 8, Mint 20, and I think that's Ubuntu 18, probably. The passwords for Mint and Ubuntu are the same, and I'll refer to them later on in this introduction. So if I go back to, I'm using workspaces. If you don't know about workspaces, Control, Alt and up arrow shows you your workspaces. So I've got the slides in this workspace. I'm recording with Simple Screen Recorder in this workspace. I've got the internet open here, and we go back here. These are the notes. So there's the introduction. Now what I'm going to use for this is, because I'm doing this, I'm re-recording it, and I'm doing it because I'm posting it on a Red Hat CentOS Facebook group. I'm going to use CentOS 8, which is down here. This is Virtualbox. I could use, oh, brilliant. Isn't that typical? The phone rings in the middle of a recording. But never mind. So I would log in here as KenM. Again, this is explained in the notes in a moment. The password is KDM123. No, it's not. It's KenM. Beg your pardon. You need different passwords for different virtual boxes just to make sure you're logging into the right one, I suppose. But training is not the real world, so I use very simple passwords. And here we are in CentOS 8 running GNOME. I can go to Activities, open the terminal, and do an ls. And there's nothing in there. That's right, there's nothing in there because although we're going to use sample files, you're going to download them during the course. So, the introduction. Over the last 20 years, I've made a living running classroom courses, but COVID put paid to that. So I decided to share my notes online, and I put them on the Facebook group to start with, using YouTube videos and PDF notes. It's rather neat this, because you can highlight the text like that. So there are videos and PDF notes. There are setup instructions to install these sample files. And if you're a Windows user and you don't have access to Linux, you can use Virtualbox appliances. There, they call them appliances. I'll show you how to download and install them in this section, I think. One thing to note though is that if you set up your own sample files in your own Linux user, some of the examples might not work because the setup will be different to mine. But you can use a Virtualbox on Linux if you want to, as well as on Windows. So all the PDF files are available to browse or download from the folder Introduction, which I just showed you in the ice drive there. You found the YouTube videos, but if you want a link, they're all available here. And there's my YouTube. There are the playlists. So there's the playlist introduction. At the moment they're in order by date, but I think when I post the new section 0 it will jump to the end, so I might change the thumbnail to say something like watch this first. So they were written for the classroom, the notes, but it won't make any difference. It's effectively, this is what I deliver. I'm actually delivering this next week to 6 delegates in Ireland. online via Microsoft Teams. I'd have rather used Zoom, but they want to use Teams, so we're using Teams. So you're getting the same experience without the interaction, without the questions. There are two course cheat sheets, basic commands and Vim and Nano editors. They are in the introduction. That's the basic commands. So that's the list of basic commands that I cover, a description and examples. And these are my get buy-in notes for Vim and Vi, and for the Nano editor, which is covered in section 5. So the first bit here is the setup, the objectives and the content. I'll make this bigger. You can't do it, there aren't any little buttons there. You have to right click and go to maximize. It's a bit daft. I don't actually write GNOME. I mean, what I'm using here is Linux Mint with Cinnamon, which is a desktop I like. I like a clean desktop, so all I've got is a clock and a couple of icons that link to Virtualbox. My panel is down here. I like to use the control keys if possible to do things. It's much quicker. I can bring those back up like that. I don't use CentOS as a desktop. It's mostly used as a server along with Red Hat and Fedora. But I teach CentOS courses. What's going on there? Oh, never mind. That was me messing about. So, installing the sample files, installing the optional Virtualbox VM, and the aims and objectives of the course and the course content. So this is the new way I've done it. Originally I did it into the base user, but now I'm doing it directly into a directory that you create. So use a set of sample files. They're supplied in a zipped format, or you can use Virtualbox. If you want the zip file, so if you've got something running yourself, open the bash terminal, you can echo $0 and that will tell you $0. I suppose if you're using ZSH in Arch it will all still work. And then install the latest files by copying this wget and pasting it into the terminal. The reason I didn't put the files there is I can update the file that this uses, and you can install a new set of files, which has happened several times. There we go. So we've now got these files in KNEM. So you can view them by typing ls. Now if you're doing this into your own user in Linux, for instance, if I was doing this onto my Mint desktop here, whoops, big pardon, here. If you haven't seen this, this is GUAKE, the terminal, which is really neat. You can do things like split it in half, which I like. Sorry, you can customize it by going to preferences, and you have it up and down just by pressing F12, although you can't press F12 if you're in Virtualbox. The cursor needs to be outside. Press F12. So here, if I was going to do it, what I would do I would make a new directory if I'm using my own user called fpt cd into fpt, and then unzip the files in there. And then work in that user directory, I should say, not user. But I'm going to do it in here. So that's install the files, that's the first step. Now if you don't want to do that, you can use Virtualbox. And to do that, what you do is you download Virtualbox. Now although I can't click on these, I can click there and copy the link. I'll try open the link. Open the link? No. Expecting too much. Copy the link address. If I go back here and open a new tab, and in there I can paste. Sorry, I should have done this beforehand, shouldn't I? Okay, you can get VirtualBox from here for Windows hosts or for Linux if you want to. So go to Windows host. You just download it from there. It's the same for all hosts. And then to get the VM that you need, go to my ice drive, the classroom, click on VMs, and if you want the CentOS one or the Mint one, I don't think the Ubuntu one's got everything in it, so I would recommend using one of those two. So you download VirtualBox, download the virtual machine that you want, and then import the appliance. So to import the appliance, what you do is open VirtualBox. Whoops, sorry, can't open it. I'm using keyboard shortcuts, but I have to be outside the VM to do that. Click on import. So you go File, Import, Appliance. Locate the downloaded appliance, number 4 there. So go find my appliance, which is in my user in OVA, and I'm going to import the Mint one, and click next, then click import, and that will import it. I'll just stop it and come back again when it's done. Now it's finished. It uses Microsoft minutes. This, for instance, it says it's got 5 minutes to go, and then it just finishes. Next thing to do, take a snapshot first thing, because what that does is effectively backs up the virtual machine, and if you mess things up or you want to go back to where you started, you can go back there. Now if snapshots doesn't appear here, what you do is you click there, snapshots, take, and this is my initial snapshot. Well, it's snapshot 1, so I'll know anyway, I suppose. That's done, and then just start it up. If you want a shortcut on the desktop, here, that's the other thing I do, is right click and create a shortcut on the desktop. It's down there. Put it down there because I already had one. Couple other things, you can check it's working by starting it. Click on start or double click the shortcut, and it will come with a login screen much like CentOS did. Mint, the username is KDM and the password is KDM123, and it's the same for Ubuntu. For CentOS it's KenM with a password of KenM. The root password for all the machines is root123, and there are no files in, so if you're going to use Mint, you then copy in the files. Right, now we'll go and look at the overview. So this course gives an introduction to Linux and to Unix actually, because most of this stuff works in Unix. Versatile and stable operating system, which runs in business on many servers. Suitable as part of the preparation for CompTIA. Also for RHCSA exam, if you're thinking of taking that. Concentrates on the command line rather than the GUI. And we're going to look at the most commonly used commands and utilities. And things like piping, redirection, wildcards, backup recovery, permissions, and the Vim editor. And what I say in the classroom is it's easy to use and learn. It's supposed to be fun doing it. Although this is based on CentOS, the commands and principles learnt may be applied to all other versions of Linux, including Ubuntu and Mint. So you can run it on Ubuntu and Mint if you want to, although it was all developed using CentOS 6 and 7, I think. Although this is CentOS 8. It works on SUSE too. These are the aims and objectives. At the end of the course, you'll go away happy and able to use it. So we look at the common commands, history, structure, concepts, files and directories, customizing the environment, using Vim, more advanced commands like find and grep, backup and restore commands, tar and cpio, looking at permissions, and the batch editor, sed, to edit files. Your responsibility is to watch these lectures, listen and learn. It says I show you how to do things, so you see and understand and then do and remember. You can copy from the PDF into the virtual machine, but don't copy commands in because you won't learn that way. Type the commands in. Well, I wouldn't type the wget, but type the other commands in. So it says type in and try the course examples, attempt to complete the exercises. I'll then put up the exercise solutions. Try things out. I mean, if you wreck the machine, it doesn't matter if you've got a snapshot, you can go back to it. Don't wreck your own machine. Learn by your mistakes, enjoy yourselves. There are no prerequisites for this. If you know something about Linux or Unix, then that's a help, but it's not essential. And the next course would be shell scripting. And there's the updated contents because I didn't have sed on there before. So those are the 11 sections that I'm going to look at. That's the end of this section. So if I go back to the slides here, the next one is section 1, accessing the system. And like I said, I've already posted sections 1 to 8. So if you're seeing this for the first time, you're in luck. They're all there. I would recommend doing them slowly. I was posting them 1 a week, so you could perhaps attempt 1 a week. Now I usually finish with a plea. Please support development. That's very easy. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel or like and comment on my videos. It would be nice to have some feedback. I don't get much feedback, or recommendations on Facebook. So feedback as comments or feedback and questions, suggestions via email. The more supporters I get, the better. And that's the end of this section. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.